Good morning, everyone. It's a glad welcome we bring to you this morning, filled with the desires, hopes, and dreams all we share. Good morning, all. On behalf of Francis Xavier Engineering College, an autonomous institution in Tirunelveli and Department of Civil Engineering, I thank each and everyone for joining today's session. I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our guest speaker. The fragrance of flowers spread only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spreads in all directions. We are delighted to have Dr. S. Karpasamy sir, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. He did his BE Geoinformatics in Anna University in the year 2001 and MS Photogrammetry and Geoinformatics in Stuttgart University of Applied Sciences at Germany in the year 2006. He completed his PhD in Anna University in the year 2018. He has more than 10 years of teaching and research experience. He published n number of international research papers in reputed journals and patents. His expertise in the areas of digital photogrammetry, airborne laser terrain mapping, and geometric surveying. He's having professional experience as aerial triangulation specialist in Fugromaps Sharjah and photogrammetry manager in GeoCAD Solutions and Morocco, and a photogrammetry technologist in Chemsex India Private Limited, Gurjaan, and so on. He also delivered many guest lectures for workshops, seminars, and conferences. We are certainly grateful to have him for accepting our invitation humbly and gladly to become the guest speaker for this valuable session. We are really thankful to him for taking the time out of his busy schedule to present this session. On behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now you can proceed with your presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for introduction. And continue with yesterday session. I supposed to come in the afternoon session. Due to some personal reason, I presented in the morning. And I hope so. Yesterday's session is giving you some input from QGIS. And now I am moving into further to work with the attribute data. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So now I have opened QGIS. As far as our session concerned, there are two important things as I'm going to discuss today. One is working with attributes. So as you all know, what do you mean by attribute? So information about the features, information about water body, information about the building, what information about the institutions. So any information about spatial location, then it can be a attribute data. Now I will bring some layer that contains some attribute information. But instead of bringing the layer in a normal way, I thought of bringing the layer by the way of PostGIS. So PostGIS, another open source software. It is working with PostGRE SQL. So structure definition language, structure query language, and I have generated some of the layer by using SQL, PostGRE SQL 12 version, and I brought them in PostGIS, and now I can import those layers which I have created using PostGRE SQL 12 version. I can import into QGIS by the help of PostGIS software, which is built in the system. And before going to do that, I thought of showing you the some layer importing, like CSV layer importing. So we have the data in CSV file. Now I will import the CSV file into the system. For example, you can have the data in like field data. which you have collected by using GPS. So you can enter the GPS coordinates in Excel file, and you can add the information for the corresponding locations. For example, you are going for soil sampling. So you collected 100 samples from the field. So each and every samples you give the description for that sample. For example, okay, you collected in nearby FX Engineering College. You collected the samples nearby Tirunelveli Junction, and you collected the point nearby airport, Tuticorin Airport. So these are the description you can give. You can enter in the Excel file. Now the thing is how we can bring the Excel file into QGIS. And as far as GIS, ArcGIS concerned, ISRI, I mean to say ISRI concerned, you can import the data directly, and you can also do that by using QGIS. But before that, you supposed to uh, install the plugin called delimiter. So if you look at that the screen, delimited text file, so that can be um, like installed by through the install plugins. If you go to plugins, there is option called manage and install plugins. So you can utilize this plugin tool to install your the required plugin. So you can type your plugin here and you can install it. So for my case, it is already installed. So I don't need to install again. So you can type anything related to the plugins and you can go for the installations. So that can be done by using plugin tools that is available in the plugin. So you can, these are the different tools are plugins are installed as far as this set of concerns, and so you can install the plugin whatever you want. Now, so already the plugins are installed here. The plugins called add delimited text layers. So anything can be added. So now I am going to show you how we can add the CSV file, comma separated value file, by using text delimited file. That is the first exercise I am showing you. Then the second case I will go with how we can add a PostGR SQL generated file. So let us start with attaching or adding or importing text delimited CSV file in the QGIS. So this is a task I'm going to perform now. So just select your tool, and this will pop up like this, and you can, there is a file name, so you can browse for your data where you are having. And for example, I thought of importing this one, so let us see how it comes. Further import. So I have many CSV file. Let me try with this one. And this is about weather station in India, different weather stations located across the India. And this data I have downloaded from net only, and I have modified as far as our requirement. And this is a basic data which I have downloaded from the internet. This one I'm going to import into the QGIS. So if you look at that file format, CSV, comma separated values, there are other format also can be imported with that. A number of header lines to discard 0, because we don't have anything in the header. So we have the header, but that is comes in the category of field. So in the field you have field ID like a meteorological station and district, state, altitude, latitude, longitude. So these are the different field present in the CSV file. And there is a point coordinate geometry definitions. If you look at that, geometry definitions, point coordinates. So I'm going to give X field, so longitude, and Y field, latitude. So if you are importing degree, minute, seconds, so then you have to select this one. But I have converted into radians, so now the data is in the radians. But the problem with ArcGIS, as far as my concern, you can import radian file very easily in ArcGIS, in ArcGIS. For example, if you have the data in radians, it is very easy for you to import. If you have the data in degree, minute, second, that means 70 degree, 20 minutes, 30 seconds. In that case, what you have to do, you have to convert them into radians, and then you can import the data easily in ArcGIS. I mean, history-based ArcGIS or ArcMap. But in the case of QGIS, they provide us provision for importing the degree, minute, seconds coordinates also. D indicates degree, M indicates minutes, and S indicates seconds. But anyway, we are having the data in radians, so there is no problem in that. So this is a setup, and file name and file format and record options and geometry definitions. So just give OK. I think it is saying some error. One records discarded due to missing geometry definition. So there is one record which is not having any geometry definition. So don't worry, it's not a problem. Then so that record will not be available after importing the data. So this is the basic definition you can fix after you import the data. As far as our data concerned, I feel to have WGS 84. That is World Geodetic System 84. And I make it the same definition. If you want, you can change as far as your area, your location, you can change. There are many number of coordinate reference systems are there. That means CRS. So you can use whichever you want to have for your area. So now I will use a WGS84. So this is a file. This is a easy way to import the CSV file. Now you look at that, and if you look at this, so you can go and see the attribute table. So these are the different attribute information, field, I mean FID, meteorological station, district, state, altitude, latitude, longitudes. Now, so I want to work with attributes. So these are the attributes. This is a spatial data, and especially I would like to ask the question whether it's a raster data or vector data. So any answer from your audience, whether it is a vector or raster? Can you please tell me the answer, whether this is a vector or raster?
Vector, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So this is a point information. So this comes under the category of vector layer. Now we are going to work with attributes. I mean to say it's not a very tough task to do that. So just right click that layer, and if you look at there is a tool called open attribute table. So in the last class also we have seen the same thing. Just open the open attribute table, and now I want to select the altitude which is having above 500 meter or above 1000 meter. I want to select the meteorological station which is located nearly 500 or 1000 meter above the mean sea level. I want to visualize those meteorological station from this attribute table, from this database. So what I can do, so there is a option called select features using an expression. So we can select the features based on the expression. So express in the sense with the help of mathematical operator and conditional operators, we can select the features are available in the attribute table. So this is called expressions. It can be any kind of expressions related to mathematical and conditional, and it can be like a string expression also. So select this one, select features using expression, and there is an expression window. So this will looks like that. And if you look at here, operators, so look at the operators plus minus and like. So there are many operators are there, and conditional cases. So there are and mathematical operator, square root, log, and there are many. And something like same for there are many function can be used from the attribute table. But for our interest, it's a fields and certain values. So fields and values. So field is nothing but this is a field. FID is a field. MET station, that is meteorological station, is a field. District is a field. State is a field. So I want to select the altitude, the location where it is above 500-meter level. So I am going for field, but I need the altitude. So I double click the altitude. As soon as you double click, this will show like this in the expression window, altitude. So what is my expression as far as my aspect, as far as my concern? I want to select the layer above 500-meter from the mean sea level. Okay. So above 500, so then it is called, it's supposed to be greater than 500. So this is a like operator you can utilize to do the operations. This operation is called is greater than, and now you have to give the values for that. So values, as I said earlier, it is going to be above 500 meter, and now it's feed the information, altitude greater than or equal to 500, select, and so there are some layers that selected, and we can visualize them. If you look at this, so these are the meteorological station just above the 500 meter. So so if you and see here, for example, Maharashtra, it is 657, Aurangabad 580. So this is how you can select the layers by attributes. So this is simple methods you can adopt for doing it, and same thing, you have a lot can be done by using a field calculator. You can add the field, extra field you can add, create a new field, and you can add the information whichever you want as a Excel file or as a database file. So anything can be done in the attribute table. And but as far as my opinion, instead of working with attribute table directly, it is better to open with any database, and you can import the database in a CSV file or text file. So that is going to be easy as far as my concern, because for example, in the Excel, you can copy the data, even thousand number of data you can copy and paste it. But here it is not feasible. So you cannot copy and paste this easily. You have to enter the data, every field, every records. So this is a single record. So every record you have to incorporate. So that is very laborious and very time-consuming process. So my personal experience. So as far as my concern, if you want to work with attribute data, it is better to work with any DBase or Oracle or Excel, at least in Excel. Then you can bring them into GIS. That is my opinion. And this is one example. So this is, I shown the example how to import the attribute table, attribute information into Quantum GIS by using delimiter, text delimiter plugin available in the Quantum GIS. So there is a slight changes between ArcMap and QGIS. In the case of ArcMap, you can use add data. So only there's an option. It's a general tool as per a GA ArcMap concern, add data. So you can add raster, vector, any text file directly from add data, but only slight changes needs to be done in the case of ArcMap. But here there is a plugin for doing the same operation in ArcMap. So now what is my next task? As I want to tell you, now I want to tell you how we can import the same CSV file generated from PostGIS. I have generated certain SQL file for this HTTP. So I'm going to show you how to bring the PostGIS data into QGIS. So this is the elephant symbol. It's an open source software that is called PostGIS software. This is open source. This can be worked with the PostgreSQL also. Now just click this one and add PostGIS tables. So here the same thing. And was yesterday we have seen some of the services, web map services, web future services from the developed countries, and they have published their data in web-based GIS system. So we have utilized those layers as input from their services with the help of WMS and WFS. But here the same thing, same like a window, it looks connect, new, edits, the same window. But the only thing is this is generated in a PostgreSQL. So this is the main difference between these two data sets. I will show you how the PostgreSQL looks. So this is actually I don't want to open it again because it takes time. So PG admin 4, this is open source software. This is belongs to PostgreSQL. So I have installed the software. Can you see this window, PostgreSQL window? Okay, maybe I will show it in the next after completing this exercise. Anyway, I have created that. So now I will bring this layer here. Okay, and for that go to new, and you can give any name. I'm giving surface because I have created the surface for SRM, Institute of Science and Technology. This is open source data. I have created the surface. I have created the surface by using Google Earth data. So I'm going to utilize that here. So connection information like surface 3, you can give any name. I am giving just for my understanding. So coast is a local coast. That means it's a locally connected one. So just give local host. And database, already I have created the database. So I'm going to use the same database here. I have created the database in PostgreSQL with the help of BG admin 4. Okay, now I'm going to utilize the same database which I have created in PostgreSQL. The database name is weather. The PostgreSQL name is weather. Database is weather. And username, that for PostgreSQL, username is common. It is uniform and is universally same one. You don't need to change the username for PostGRS. PostGRES. This is a username, and password. I have created the password while I'm working with PostgreSQL. I'm going to give the same password. So these are the information you will be creating at the time of generating the server in PostgreSQL. Okay, there is some issues. 1 second. So there is let me check it whether database is correct or not. There are many databases in here. I think whether that is correct. And surface 1. Okay, good. So you should not give a wrong name. So then it will show you the error. Surface 1. Whether connection failed. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me try with other database. If it is not working, no problem. We have many database to locate, so no problem about it. So now it is successful. Connection to weather was successful. Actually, I should not use the same name which I have created there. There I have created surface 2, I think surface 1. So I have changed the name surface 2. Now the connection is successful. Connection sometime due to the connectivity, due to the internet connection, so you will face a problem. And sometime due to the so this is hard to get the information from the server, local server. Then that case it will show you the error. And if you are keep on trying, that will connect. So this is a procedure for connecting it. You okay? Okay, I'm giving yes. So now surface 2, it is we have connected the server surface 2. I'm giving connect here. So this is data I have created by using PostgreSQL, and there are two database I have created. One is surface 1, another one is weather. And weather, I've shown the weather data to you in the previous exercise. And now surface 1, this is like elevation point from the mean sea level. It was collected from the Google map. Just give add. And okay, in order to confirm that whether it is where it is located, that case we can incorporate or we can superimpose our OpenStreetMap with this one. You have to see, you have to look for OpenStreetMap and open the OpenStreetMap. If the internet connection is good, then it will come easily. Otherwise, it takes time. Let us see. As I said earlier, it was created for SRM University. So this is SRM. I'm sorry, it is slow. Okay, this is where I'm. My department is somewhere here. So we have created this one, and let me superimpose with our point layer. This is how created. This is very easy to create if you use Google Map. There is a software for converting all the DCX file. That is called TCX converter. So you can generate your path. The path will be imported into TCX converter, and in the DCX converter you can get XYZ values. That means latitude, longitude, and altitude information for that. And if you look at the surface by using open attribute table, and the same story here. So that is field ID, latitude, longitude, and altitudes. Suppose I want to select the layer just okay, between above 47 and less than 50. Let us try. So I want to select the altitude above 47 and less than 50. This is the task I want to perform now. So what is the task? Field. So I want to select the altitude. Okay, altitude operator. What I am trying to do is, it's supposed to be less than, sorry, greater than 47, and hopefully it will work. And I think we should give altitude again. In GIS that is the case, but I don't know here. Let us see. And less than or equal to 50. Select. Okay, it is selected. So these are the layer got selected. I don't know how many records got selected, and this is how you need to perform the how to work with attributes by using QGIS. I hope it is very easy. The first method is a common method we are adopting, importing the text delimited file as a CSV file. What I am carrying out the second exercise, this is additional thing. For example, in Excel, there is a restriction in number of records, and that case, you can create your database in PostgreSQL. And addition to that, if you work with Excel file, you cannot create the geometry. So this is only the text or string file. For example, here you have the information latitude and longitude, but this is not a geometry. But in the case of suppose if you want to calculate the area for a polygon, you cannot use a data which you have created from the CSV. Okay, if you convert them into save file, then it is well and good. You can work with that. That is no problem in it. But in the case of a polygon, I mean, calculate the area from the polygon. So if you have any information CSV, so if you are working directly from the CSV, you cannot calculate the whole area. So in that case, you need to incorporate the geometry for that. So what kind of geometry, whether it is a point or line or polygon. So this is the geometry you need to incorporate. So this can be attached in the PostgreSQL. So this can be done very easily with the help of PostgreSQL. So I like to show you how we can create our database by using PostgreSQL. And instead of working with the CSV file directly, we can bring here and we can go on ahead with the generation of these informations. So I'll close this one. So you look at here, these are the points got above 47 meter and less than 50 meter elevation with respect to mean sea level. So this is how the data can be imported into QGIS by using CSV file and by using PostGIS file actually. Okay, this is not only for point layer. This can be done for polygon also. Let me show you that also. So there is already have a connection called building. Just connect. So this building one I have already generated from the previous data. Maybe I can do the same thing here. Connect. Give your username, post areas, and password they created already. Now we got the connection. Connection as established from the building. Just to give building, look for the polygon. There are many layers are there. Even point layers are there, but buildings are in polygon. So multi-polygon, select multi-polygon, add, and again the same story. So the coordinate reference system. You can specify the coordinate reference system, but I would like to have WGC84, so I'm keeping the same. You look at here, this is a polygon. So the same area, maybe I have done this exercise to clip the coverage. Maybe I don't know exactly when I was done this one. Transparent fill, color maybe a red color. So now see, so this is a polygon. So this is how you bring the information with the help of PostGIS. So you have imported polygon. It can be possible with a linear feature or polyline features. This is going to be the same procedure as far as QGIS, PostGIS as well as CSV import. So before going to start next session, this is I want to summarize that what I have done so far. Generally speaking, we are working with spatial and non-spatial data, and spatial as well as non-spatial data contains attributes, information, and there are many ways we can bring the attribute to QGIS. In that case, we can bring the attributes into QGIS by CSV file, comma separated value, or text file. So there is a plugin in QGIS software. The plugin is called text delimited. Maybe you can see the text delimited text layer. So using this plugin, so you can import our CSV file. So only thing you have to specify geometry definitions and point coordinates. In the geometry definitions, you are giving the location, longitude and latitude in the corresponding places to bring the data into QGIS. While bringing the data, you need to reference. You need to reference. That means a coordinate reference system. You have to assign the coordinate reference system for those layer in order to bring them in a corresponding or real system coordinates. So this is how I have done in the first exercise. The second exercise, the same thing, same layers got brought from the PostGIS. So PostGIS is open source software. So there is a open source software called PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL data can be so the PostGIS can be incorporated into PostgreSQL. That I will show you in this upcoming exercise. So using that, we can perform these operations very easily actually. So now I will stop share this screen, and I will show you the screen of PostgreSQL. So I have the software. Now I will share my screen. Okay, once again. I guess you are getting some. Entire screen is shared. Now I'm going to open the software which I have installed already. The software called. Can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because I have stopped the screen.
Visible.
That's why I asked. So
Yeah,
I
it's
have
sharing, sir.
installed the
Sharing.
software. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I have installed the software called PostgreSQL. Oh, there is a software called PostgreSQL. There, pgadmin 4. pgadmin 4. So you just open this one. It takes some time. And there is a link. I will share with you a link now how to where you can find the software. It takes some time because this is connecting locally. So here you see here server, and you can create your own server. Already I have created 2 servers for and it is asking for the password. And generally when you create the server, this will ask for username and password. Username is going to be same, PostGRES, POSGRES, PostGRS, Postgres, whatever the word you want to say, you can say. And password, you can give the password, but already I have created it, so I can give OK. Now I am going to work with so there is a database. You look at here, databases, and you can create our own database and right click the database and create. So this is the, I don't say this is the first step. The first step is to create the server. The second step is to create the database. Okay, since I have many servers, I am working in the existing one. So go to database and create database. Okay, and I'm giving the database called HTTP. That means the third day. So I'm giving HTTP 3. You say Okay, it is created, and you see here HTTP3 we created just now, and here something interesting to say is extension. You see, wherever you go, you are having the extensions, whether it is ArcMap or QGIS. QGIS, it is called a plugin. ArcGIS is extension, and here also you have the extension. Why do you need this extension? As I said earlier, this PostGRE information can be incorporate or can be integrate the PostGIS software, so that we can bring the data which you have created in PostgreSQL can be brought into PostGIS. So that's the reason we can generate the extension. So already there is a extension called PostgreSQL. So I'm going to generate the extension. So create extension. You see here name. One second. I don't know. HTTP ல இருக்கேன் நான் அப்புறமா phone பண்றேன். So here you give the name. As I said, this is PostGIS. Please look at here PostGIS. There are many, even point cloud PostGIS, PostGIS raster, PostGIS topology. There are many type of extensions are there. So if you want to work with raster, then you have to go with PostGIS raster. But now PostGIS, just select that and save. Now what will happen? We have created PostgreSQL and and provided with the extension of PostGIS. Now we created so this contains many informations. So if you want to work with any like data sets like parks or geometry, geography, and geometry for the point, you look at here geometry and geometry shape like point line polygon, and so you supposed to have these details in order to work with spatial data, especially for point line polygon geometry type. And there are many functionalities are there in PostGIS, so you can utilize these functions after giving the extension for the corresponding PostgreSQL file. And now there is a schema. Of course, you know what you mean by schema. And so in the schema, there is a schema called public. Here you can create the table. You can create the table. You can create the table. This is one way. I will show you in two ways. Creating the table in by like SQL query and by using graphical user interface. So you can give the name. The name is called like spatial underscore x y z, spatial underscore x y z. And so this is a table. I am creating it by using definitions available, and you can see this table. We will create the table, but it doesn't have any informations. There is no information in this table. So we can add information for this table actually. And but already we have created it. So you can add the information by adding the or importing the data for this one. So there is option called import and export. Now what I have done so far, I am creating the tables in the schema. The first step is create the database, and the second step is extension. Why it is extension? Because we are going to integrate this data into PostGIS. So we had given the extension as a PostGIS. there are many functionality as per the PostGIS is concerned, which is very essential and mandatory to work with the geometry data or vector data or raster data, whatever may be. So that's the reason we are giving the extension for the concerned database. Once the database is created, we are going for creating the table. We can create the table in the schema. Of course, what you know what you mean by schema. And we are creating the like a table in the schema called spatial XYZ. Now I would like to import the data for this spatial XYZ. Maybe it will work. Let us see. So just right click the table name spatial XYZ and import and export. There is an option called import and export, and it shows export. You just click here, then it will come import, and you can select. I have so many layer for like sample data. Maybe I can open this one and select. You select, and don't forget to change the header, because it always have the header informations. The header is nothing but field ID. Field ID like field values. You can say field values. If you don't use this one, let us see. Let us start with the error. So error make us to think, and it will correct our problem. So just if you open like this, it will show you the error. Okay, what is error? So there is error. Oh, copy some. It is saying something related to that. Okay, don't worry. And now what you have to do? Okay. Now do the same thing, but different settings. Import and export, and select import and file name, and give the same file name. Select and change header file. Header file, yes, it is having the header information. Of course, if you use text file, so that case maybe sometimes you use some of these operators like colon, comma, tab. So you want to use that if you use a text file. But this is a CSV file. That means, and this is a Excel kind of file, so you don't have that. So just give OK. End file. Okay, again same error. So let us open that. What is error? So this is the structure of our Excel file, and I would like to tell you something. We have created the table, but the table doesn't have any field. So we have to create a field, then we have to go for import. So that was the error. That is the reason there was error. Because if you look at that table, I would say like query tool. So here you can give your query, select or some spatial XYZ, and you can give execute. There is no field, nothing is there. So we have to create the table. This is a table, but there is no record. So you have to create a table with records. So what we can do, so there is a command for doing it. It is easy, like create table, but maybe it will create another table. But, create table, spatial X, Y, Z. Okay, create table. We are creating the same name. Okay, in that there are some information related to how it looks in a Excel file. FID, lat, long, altitude. Okay, so FID is same like any database or any programming. FID is an integer. It's a field ID, and what is the next one? We have latitude, LAH. LAH has double precision. We're supposed to use LAH double precision. It's like double. So they have the terminology double precision. Just use double precision. And should use the same long. Double precision and add that also double precision. Once it's done, I guess you can execute that. So it's already exists. So I can give the name XYZ1. Otherwise, what we can do, we can prop table spatial XYZ that will delete the table, existing table. That table is already dropped from that. So now if you execute this one, now the table has created. Let us see whether the table has created or not from this function select or from spatial XYZ. There is a error, then it will not work. Okay, we are created as a spatial XYZ1, so you have to use spatial. So these are the field we have created. Okay, now if we import the data now, I guess it will work because we have the field values and we have the field. We don't have the values. Now we are going to incorporate the value for those field. So what we can do by, if you look at this one, let us see anything is there. Okay. Still it's spatial XYZ. So we'll do one thing, we'll copy this one and we'll create the same. What we have created, I didn't see where is it. So I will do one thing, I will drop this one. I will drop the spatial XYZ and I will do the same to create a new one. So how to delete the table? Drop table spatial XYZ. I guess it will work. Centered. Select or star from a spatial XYZ one. Okay. Now I want to bring the information for this all field values. For these all fields, I have to bring the records. So this is field. I should bring the records for that. So there is a command for that. I can copy the data. I can copy data. If you look at that, you can copy the data from here. So this is the command for copying the data from already existing copy. What is our file name? Spatial XYZ1. Okay. From this is a location. This is a location. I'm having the file. Copy spatial XYZ1 from this is the location. So this is where I have the file. 2018_1 workshop, and this is a file. So we should give the exact path name and with CSV header. So you are defining the CSV file, and there you are saying that with CSV header. I guess it will work. Okay, now this is successfully done. Let us see whether the records has come or not. For looking at the records, you can use the command select star from spatial XYZ1. If you execute that, you will get the records. You see there are many records has created, and this is how you can create the data from the Excel sheet. So what you have done, you just create a table name called any name, create table, and so whatever the field you are adding, the corresponding layer should be there in the Excel also. Corresponding level should be there, a corresponding field should be there. If there is a mismatch between this field, then the record will not generate and it will show you the error. And you make sure that there should not be any differences while creating the field or level, field or layer or the information which you are going to add in the PostgreSQL should be same like in the Excel file or CSV file. If there is a mismatch between these two files, then your record will not be generated or record will not be comes to the PostgreSQL query box. This can be visualized here by using select star from spatial XYZ1. The same way, it can be done by using query editor, or it can be done by using file import and export. This both way. Let us try with this one. I don't know whether it is working or not. Let's see. Import 11, select header. So that's what we have given in the query editor, CSV with header. So that was working. Again, there is error. I don't know what is the exact reason for that, but this is how we can import the data into PostgreSQL. And once it is done, and you can add the geometry. So how it can be added? You look at here. I have created geometry for many layers. Let me show you that. This is for building. You see here, so this is a so this is called geometry. This is called geometry. So we have the building ID, I mean their height, and then latitude and longitude, and their geometry. So if you look at the query history, so this is currently generated. So I don't know whether how to create the query, I mean SQL statement for this one. Maybe this is way we can create our easily we can create our SQL query statement. Maybe you can use this query statement in the query editor to perform the same operations. You look at here, geometry 0.4326. So whatever they have done here, so this is how we can use as a reference to create them. FID integer, ID integer, height, double precision, lat double precision, long double precision. So instead of writing the new code, you can use the existing code which were created in the system itself. You can utilize and you can perform the same operation. Now I like to show you how we can bring this one. Okay, now we created some of the databases, and in the databases we have incorporated some of the information called surface, and we have imported the values for those field from the Excel file, and we can incorporate the geometry for each and every object we have brought into the system. And using this geometry, and this geometry is required since we are working with spatial data. So geometry is a basic parameter which is satisfying the spatial information. So without spatial information, we cannot bring the data into GIS. So even you can ask like non-spatial data. So usually non-spatial data don't have the spatial information. So that's the reason it's a non-spatial data. So if you want to convert the non-spatial data into spatial, you're supposed to have the coordinate information. So this is the geometry information. So this geometry can be a point, line, polygon. So we done the exercise with both polygon as well as point informations. And so this is a basic criteria for PostGIS SQL consent. You create your database and develop, I mean, create your own extension for PostGIS. If you want to work with geometry, the PostGIS extension is mandatory. Without PostGIS extensions, you cannot go further for working with the geometry actually. If you're working, if you are creating the table, normal table, for example, I want to create the table without PostGIS, I can create a database here, database called college name, I'll say college new. College is here. The same way, you see here, look at the SQL. We are created by graphical interface. So if you want to write in uh, by SQL, so you can do this one actually. If you use the same command, you can create other database. So this is easy for us to understand. For example, I will do the same thing. You copy this one and create like While is it two? Now go to schema and public. Here you can create your, okay, instead of that you can have your query tool. You can create normal table, create table, give the name for the table, name college, name, character value. This will work. So now the label is created and you can visualize the table. Select for so ID and name. So you can insert the information for that. Insert table name. So for ID you can give 10, comma name. ID you have to give like this. One second. Sometime when it is required, it will not work. Okay, you can insert the details as you like. I don't remember exactly what is the exact problem, so it takes some time to solve it. But this is the case. You can import or insert your data into the PostgreSQL SQL. So with this, I am completing my session, like how to import a CSV file into QGIS by using plugin, and how to generate your database in PostgreSQL, and how it can be incorporated with PostGIS to bring them into QGIS. So, and how to work with the attribute information. So with this one, I'm completing my session. Thank you all. You can ask the question related to that. Thank you very much. Is there any question you can ask me?
Dear participants, if you have any queries, kindly ask the sir. Sir, doubts are in the chat box, sir.
How to create a pop-up window when cursors on point. This is more relevant to programmer aspect. So I am not a programmer, so I have no idea about that, how to create a pop-up window. But that is generally done by using small coding, but I have no idea actually. Otherwise, you can do with graphical user interface also. But as a programmer, they can do well, but I am not a programmer, so I have no idea about it. How to create browser in PostJS? What kind of browser? I didn't understand what kind of browser you were asking for it. But PostGIS is meant for working with vector and raster data, and from the database which is created by using PostgreSQL. So there are many plugins, or there are many functionalities there, and based on the functionality, you can incorporate many information related to spatially, and it can be a raster data, it can be a vector data, point line, polygon. But I didn't understand what you mean by browser. So browser, it is a spatial you are talking about, or that I don't know exactly what does it mean by browser, but it is meant for working with spatial and non-spatial data, which is created in PostgreSQL. This is linked to the PostGIS so that it can be brought into QGIS with the help of PostGIS plugin available in the QGIS software. Is there any question? Thank you. Data through plugin. Please briefly explain data through plugin. Okay. Plugin is same like called extension. If you look at GIS, plugin manage and install plugins. Go to manage and install plugins. There, for example, I want to have some specific tool like semi-automatic classification. When you look at here, this is already installed, semi-automatic classification. Sorry. And you can, if you look at their status, this is already installed. If you want to, if there is update, you can update directly. If you uninstall that plugin, you can uninstall. So plugin is, there are a lot of development tools developed by the OGC volunteers. They feed into the QGIS for performing certain tasks very easily. That comes under the category of plugin. For example, I want to create the point in a certain interval. Certain interval since every 10 meter I want to create a point for 10 by 10. So this is a task. So this can be done manually by placing your point. But the thing is, you have to measure the 10-meter interval. So how you can measure? So that is a problem. So in that case, you can develop your own program to perform that. But even if you develop, okay, this is, you feel that this is very essential as far as GIS concerned, then you can convert them into a exe file and executable file, and you can include them as a plugin into the QGIS software with the changing of code. So this is possible. So plugin is something is required to do something automated ways. In that case, plugin is required, and it can be developed as a exe file, and it can be incorporated into system for performing certain tasks. For example, PostGIS, it's a plugin file. Semi-automatic classification, this is a plugin. And delimited text layer, that is a plugin. And open layer, that is a plugin. So there are many plugins are there to perform a certain task based on the requirement. But generally, what we are using the plugin, we are using SCB, a semi-automatic classification, vector layer, delimitation of layers, and there are not restricted with that. In addition to that, we can use many plugins are available in QGIS. Also can be brought into the QGIS if you have our own plugin. That is also feasible actually. And what is next? Kindly explain the necessary of PostGIS. Very good. So PostGIS, you see, especially when you are working with web-based system, web-based GIS. So in that case, you can create your data in PostGIS SQL, and you can brought them into PostGIS for publishing your data in web-based systems. So that is going to be very easy and effective. So that case, the PostGIS is one of the mandatory thing actually. When you are going for further, when you go further to publish the data in GIS, in web-based system, then in case PostGIS is one of the important component for doing that. Why will use PostGRE SQL? That is good question. So PostGRE SQL is like Oracle database. So for example, you want to create the database. The database can be created in many aspects. As I said earlier, you can create the database even in Excel. The problem with Excel, if you are creating the database for LIDAR point, what will be the problem is huge volume of data. So that cannot capable to handle huge volume of data. So that case, you are going for any database. And you can work with Oracle database. If it is open source, no problem. If it is not open source, you have to pay the money. And PostGRE SQL, it is an open source software for creating the database, structured query language. So this is when you are handling huge volume of data. For example, data for example, Tamil Nadu soil database, and Tamil Nadu it's contain many districts. You are India soil database for India. That case, you cannot have the data in normal Excel file. So that case, you can have it in the PostGRE SQL, and you can develop your database PostGRE SQL, and it can be incorporate the PostGIS so that the future anyone can access the information. If you publish the system in after creating them in a PostGIS, then you can go for publishing the data as a web map service or web future service. So for that, you create the data in a PostGRE SQL. Since it is open source, it is so useful for the public to create the database in a open source instead of going for the proprietary software. So PostGRE SQL is necessary to create the database, geodatabase or geospatial database, and it is not necessary to be a geospatial database. Even it can be any non-geospatial database also. PostGRE SQL is a code or language based. Actually, this is structured query language. You see here, that is SQL, that is structured query language. So I don't say this is actually it's a structured query. You are adding the coding, actually coding by queries. For example, insert table, create table. These are all comes under the category of basic structured query language system. Actually, this is not a language. This is structured query a system which is used to incorporate the data into the system with the help of minimum commands used in the structured query language. So if anyone is new to GIS, then what to do, sir? That is learning the software. It is not necessary to be a GIS person. Nowadays, tutorial is actually GIS person. You'll have an idea about basic idea about what is spatial data, what is non-spatial data. But if you look at the programmer or if you look at the Oracle developer, they are not necessarily to be a GIS person. So they are working with the data. So this is a data. You just feel them as a data, not a spatial data. This is a number. This is a text. So you are dealing with the text and number. So it is not necessarily to be a GIS expert for performing any SQL operations. This is not that hard. Only thing is there are plenty of material is there in the internet system, so you can learn without having much. But if you want to work with more in spatially, of course you need to have a knowledge in GIS. But I don't think so. You should be expert in GIS to work with PostGRE SQL. please send your mobile number for us. Okay, I can give my mobile number to. Okay, I can give my mobile number here. This is my mobile number. Is there any question? Is thank you. If there is no question, then we can conclude by this. How to learn about the basic PostgreSQL. It is possible to share a step-by-step manual to help carry out this task. Of course, I can share. I will create and I will share with management, so you can collect it from them. How to learn about the basic of PostgreSQL. So there is a documentations for PostgreSQL, since it is open source software, and it is having a lot of tutorials for installation of the software and working with spatial data, and how to create the table, and for creating the table or inserting the table or drop the table. That is a basic any SQL is working with, by using select, by using insert, by using drop, any basic query you are using it, you can utilize for performing this task. But as far as my concern, you can find lot of tutorial for performing PostgreSQL. Okay, kindly share the section video link. I think this needs to be done by management. Hopefully you can contact them to get the video actually. So manual I can share, no problem. I will create and I will share with you, Regi Nanka, so I can share the manual to the management, so you can get the manual from them. Otherwise, even we have a lot in tutorial, so that can be done actually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Feedback link
Thank you,
will
sir.
feedback link has been posted, sir. And also, as per your concern, we will post the video link in the WhatsApp group also, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
A vote of thanks will be delivered by Daini
Is
Shaman.
that okay?
Be thankful for what you have. You will end up having more. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to our guest speaker, Dr. Karpasamy sir, for sparing his valuable time for making this session a very meaningful one. Thank you, sir. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. We are really thankful to you, sir, for your logistic support and guidance. Whenever we approach you for sharing your knowledge at all times, you accept our invitation humbly and gladly. Really, you are a sculptor of human character. Thank you so much, sir, for devoting your precious time and also endowing the young peoples with your words of wisdom and experience. Thank you so much, sir. Finally, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for your active participation. I hope you all have find this session fruitful and beneficial for future venture. Thank you one and all for your cordial cooperation. Let's break for a lunch. Let's all assemble back sharp by 2 p.m. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you all for your patience, and thank you for listening my presentation. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.